What's a dark family secret you uncovered? My biological parents started having kids when they were teenagers. My biological mom was 21 when she got pregnant with me, and I was their fourth child. I wasn't a product of any long-term plan or romantic ideal. I was an accident on top of an already chaotic situation. They were deep in the weeds, addiction, no stable income, barely scraping by. I think they both realized, maybe for the first time, that they couldn't just wing it anymore. Having me meant they were either going to fall apart completely or finally confront what they were doing to themselves and to the kids they already had. They chose adoption. I was placed with a couple who couldn't have biological children. They were kind, loving, middle-class people living about an hour away from the city I was born in. I didn't know the circumstances of my birth until I was old enough to understand what adoption meant. My adoptive parents never lied to me. They didn't dramatize it either. Just facts. Your biological parents were very young, they had some struggles, but they made the hard decision to give you a different shot at life. It wasn't until I was older that I started asking myself what kind of people they were, if they ever thought about me, if they wondered where I ended up. I ended up going to college in the same city I was born in. Total coincidence. I didn't even think about that part until my sophomore year, when one night I couldn't sleep and ended up deep diving online into my adoption records. I didn't have much, but I had enough: first names, a city, some background. I started with social media. Nothing at first. But then I stumbled across a Facebook account of a man who fit the age and name. He looked enough like me to give me pause. He had a wife. He had kids. The page was locked down, so I couldn't see much beyond a couple of profile pictures and some comments on church events and community photos. But it was enough. He worked at a hardware store. I looked up the number, sat on it for 2 days. Then I called. He picked up on the second ring. I said, "Hi, this might be really weird, but," and he went completely silent. I could hear his breath catch. Then he said my name. We ended up talking for 2 hours. He was quiet at first, but it wasn't fear. It was shock. He told me he and his wife had been waiting. They didn't know when or how, but they'd always believed I'd reach out someday. He told me he'd wanted to find me, but didn't want to intrude on the life my adoptive parents had built. He'd gotten clean when he was 22, just a few months after I was born. He met his wife at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, and they started rebuilding their lives from scratch. She knew about me from day one. She was the one who encouraged him to be honest with their kids if I ever came back. That night, after our phone call, he sat his kids down, my half-siblings, and told them everything. That they had another sibling, that I'd been adopted, that I was here. He said it was hard. His oldest daughter apparently took it the worst at first. She felt like part of the family history had been hidden from her. But over time, things softened. A week later, I met them in person. Walking into that house felt surreal. Everyone had my eyes. The younger brother was obsessed with music, like me. One of the girls had the exact same laugh as I did. His wife hugged me, like she'd known me my whole life. But nothing really prepared me for seeing my father, my biological father, in the flesh. There was something deeply familiar in the way he held his shoulders, in the way he rubbed the back of his neck when he didn't know what to say. I'd never seen those things before, but I knew them. I did them too. He didn't cry, but I could see the tears in his eyes. I could see him holding it back, swallowing years of guilt and hope and disbelief. We started slow. Dinner once a week, texts here and there. I met my siblings in pairs, not all at once. My adoptive parents were incredibly supportive about all of it. They even met him eventually, which was a moment I don't think any of us really knew how to handle. My mom, the woman who gave birth to me, wasn't part of this. I did track her down. She was in jail when I found her, had been in and out for years. Meth, mostly. She didn't recognize my name when I wrote to her. I sent a letter through the correctional system. She never replied. That was that. I've come to terms with it. My bio dad says she never recovered from the aftermath of giving me up. She fell deeper into the cycle and never got back out. The rest of my siblings from her side were scattered through the system. A few adopted, a few not. I haven't met them yet. Now, I'm 25, my biological dad, and I have a real relationship. It's not simple. There's a lot we don't talk about, but there's love there and effort. That's more than I expected when I made that call. Some days, I think about how many people had to fall apart in order for me to have the life I did, and how much it took for one of them to get back up again. My name isn't a secret anymore.